The 4 thought experiments that follow will help change how you see yourself and everyone around you. The infinite versions of you. Have you ever wondered how others truly see you, or how your perception of yourself might be different from their reality? I find thought experiments incredibly helpful for gaining a deeper understanding of our relationships, our sense of self, and the way we see the world. Yes, they're a bit out there, and we're going to go down a bit of a rabbit hole here, but it's fun to see things from new angles. We can gain a clearer picture of what's shaping our realities, and then use that knowledge to make better decisions. Here's a series of thought experiments to help us get a new perspective on our identities. 1. Different versions of you. In the book One, No One, and 100,000, the main character is struck with a sudden, haunting epiphany. Inside the imagination of every person he comes across exists a different version of himself, a version that's a mismatch of his own self-image. He realizes he was only him to himself. Everyone else had created their own copy of him in their minds. Take a moment to think about that. The story you've constructed in your own mind is different than the story that everyone else has constructed about you. Your parents, siblings, and friends all have their own version of you. So do your coworkers, teachers, colleagues, exes, neighbors, strangers you pass by on the street. Everyone who you cross paths with in life has their own version of you in their mind, and their versions differ from your sense of the true you. 2. How to disappear completely, or the paradox of the self. We live our entire lives in this tiny locus of consciousness that we experience as our own self. It's as if we're in a tiny little home peeking out there this window that's the focal point of everything we experience. If you were to ask yourself, who am I right now? The answer may seem completely obvious, but the more you start to dig, the more the walls start to crumble. If you follow the logic tunnel far enough, you wind up right back where you started. In psychology, this is what we call the paradox of self-consciousness. We have this conviction that there's an I, that we exist, but we can't actually prove it without using circular logic. We're using our mind to think about our mind. It's this never-ending cycle. Your own concept of I is what validates its own existence. So in this sense, no you actually even exists. Keep this in mind the next time you find yourself caring what other people think about you, seeking external validation, or hesitating to make a bold decision. It's freeing. 3. Sonder. Flipping the mirror. Now that we've had this realization about ourselves and our existence, it can be interesting to imagine someone else having the same realization. That although their perceptions feel very real and vivid, their way of viewing the world is unique to them. So use the first person that pops in your mind as an example. It can be a family member, girlfriend, boyfriend, whoever it is. Imagine them having the epiphany that their version of stories, memories, emotions, and identity is unique to them, and that you have your own version of them living inside your head. At some level, we all know this is the case, but it's one thing to know it logically and another thing to have the complete awareness of it. There's even a word that's been created to describe this feeling. Sonder. A sudden, profound awareness of the human condition. The humbling realization that every passerby, everyone you've ever known or encountered, is living a life as vivid and complex as yours. The story you tell yourself inside your own head, your own sense of existence, this all feels so very real to you. But each person on this planet is walking around with the same sense of realness. Their version of reality feels just as real to them as yours does to you. 4. A spiderweb of influence. The people you come across in life influence your actions, behaviors, and thoughts. You in turn influence theirs. Whether it's someone you pass by on the street or your closest family member or anyone in between, you create a version of each other. What that version looks like depends greatly on your own sense of self and the stories that you tell yourself. Who we are and how we see ourselves is this complex mix of these relationships. You're helping shape others' sense of self just as much as they're helping shape yours. You don't exist in a vacuum. You don't exist independently. People come into your life just as quickly as they leave it. Some influence you for years, others for just mere moments, but even long after the memory of the interaction fades, the imprint remains. And here's the real kicker. Moment by moment, thought by thought, we're all evolving in real time. Our thoughts, beliefs, and entire sense of who we are is slightly different now than it was a moment ago. Every new thought subtly changes our own versions of ourselves, and in turn, the versions we've created of others. Think of it as this ever-evolving spiderweb of influence. These different versions of us never truly exist in a concrete form. Since we're constantly changing, trying to grasp them is like trying to catch smoke. The world reflects back to us the infinite versions of ourselves. Every new experiment, encounter, and experience shows us more of who we are. The art of keeping yourself trapped. 1. Never challenge your assumptions. 2. Don't take on new perspectives. 3. Kill your curiosity. 4. Never step foot outside of your own country. 5. Always conform to the standards and expectations of others. Question number 1. Whose version of you are you living out? Question number 2. Who are you when no one is observing you? Question number 3, which is the truest version of yourself? Action step. Do something today that reflects the desired version of you. Take one concrete action to make that more of a reality.